Okay, from Farpoint Studio, let's talk about 2 of 1, the latest episode of Star Trek Picard after this. Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd. Not only are we going to talk about Star Trek Picard, we'll say something about Strange New Worlds, which released on Star Trek Day a bundle of promos on each character and on some scenes from the series that is getting started in May. It's not far from now. As soon as Picard is done, it's coming your way. We'll talk about that in a moment. But right now we want to talk about 2 of 1. And like the previous Picard episodes, there are 3 things going on. Our group all got back together in the last episode, and we know that Agnes had killed the Borg Queen, apparently ruining their attempts to get home. However, they go ahead to try to correct the timeline by getting themselves into a party that is held for astronauts on the eve of their big launch. And Q, posing as a psychologist, has tried to make the already doubting Renee Picard doubt even more of her ability to take on the mission and perhaps not take it as well. So Picard and group decide that they're going to crash this party and make an attempt to contact her and maybe talk her out of her doubts. Now, in getting there, they have to hack a computer system, and Agnes, of course, knows how to do this. She gets herself detained, put in the area which just so happens to have the computers there. And we find out a little bit more of what happened when we already know that in the last episode that the Borg Queen had gotten close enough to her to inject nanoprobes into her body, which is to say that's the first step in assimilation. And in this case, we think that maybe the Borg Queen is moving her conscience over into Jurati. Maybe she'll become the next Borg Queen, or maybe in the way history works, the Borg Queen began on Earth with Agnes. That's one of these timey-wimey things that are inevitably going to happen in any kind of time travel story. The second story has to do with Adam Sung. We find out that he is not only someone who's very concerned about his daughter, but also actually not a very reputable scientist. His conduct, which was kind of referred to in the first time that we saw him, shows that actually he just does not have any ethics at all. He's been doing some things that are highly experimental and really doesn't care about his daughter as much as he cares about his own work. And without making any spoilers there, that becomes very obvious that he is highly unethical. So his being approached by Q was something that led him to to become Q's plan B of getting rid of the flight that Renee Picard is going to take. Now, the third thing that is going on, of course, is the issues with Seven and Raffi and Rios, who are together now and with Picard, but kind of taking in this party atmosphere. And Rios is, as much as Seven of Nine has been adapting to the 21st century pretty well, Rios is finding that the food is much better and that you can get real cigars, and you have these strange little things that come in sliding boxes that catch fire when you strike them. The idea of matches apparently is kind of foreign by the 24th century. So all these things put together, and we see it mostly in flashbacks. At the present time, Picard is in some kind of coma. And that leads to a number of problems that I have with this episode. First of all, Picard, of course, is a cybernetic being now. His personality and mind, apparently, are in this android body, and yet it does not seem to, other than Q's mention earlier in this season, there's very little that's pointed out there. And while it's revealed that something is wrong, he looks incredibly human even upon physical examination. And this is something that bothers me. Now, let's say that the people of that time were not looking at him, but rather the Watcher, who, of course, is one of Gary Seven's acolytes, shall we say, looks at him with, a holographic ink pen, I think, and you see a regular brain instead of a positronic matrix. We'd always seen on Data, whenever they'd pull his scalp back, you'd see Christmas tree lights. Well, apparently not with Picard. He would appear to be more of a clone than a cyborg, and I'm wondering if Alton Sung moved the technology so much further than Noonien Sung did, and now has androids that resemble inside and out human beings. Just a question there, and something that took me out of the episode thinking about that. Also, in trying to create a diversion, Agnes decides to break out into a Pat Benatar song, and the orchestra seems to know the piece and plays along with, and there's a spotlight on her, and I'm wondering just how they were able to do all of that on a surprise. How did the band not even question whether she was supposed to come out and sing or not? How does she have a follow spot on her as she comes down the stairs? That's that. You have to suspend your disbelief for some things. And I understand this. I understand that if Picard is trying to convince somebody of something, it's going to work because he's Picard. He's got this charisma that allows people to abandon their life-held hopes and say, yeah, I guess you're right. Same way Kirk did in the original series, and there have been other examples of this. So I'll suspend my disbelief for this, but I'm a little concerned about some of the other things. And the episode was full of holes like this. That concerns me a little bit. So that's what I'm thinking about Picard this week. It appeared to be one of these let's do it because the actors will have fun roles. They can wear contemporary clothes and evening wear, for instance, and they did look good, but I just don't see, except for the very smallest part where that advanced the story. We know a little bit more about Sung. That was worth it for that. And we come back to Rios and the doctor who he originally saw that looks like it's going to develop into something. But even Raffi points to him that any kind of relationship that you have with her is going to be built on a lie, and certainly it would be. So that's where that episode goes. And meantime, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We've had an increase in subscribers in the last week, so I'd love to see you added to that. We'd love to move along in doing that. Let's say a word or two about the series of trailers for Strange New Worlds. We've found that now Spock has a name, and they've established that on Vulcan, the family name comes before the personal name, very much like Kira Nerys. Nerys is actually her name, and Kira is her surname. And they're doing the same kind of thing with Spock. It's common in China as well. Chinese names often have the surname first and then the personal name. So that's how they're going to do it. I can't pronounce it, but that's the way it's supposed to be, isn't it? They also give a name to Dr. Mbenga. He was used on only a couple of episodes in the original series, so he was apparently the chief doctor on Pike's Enterprise, so that's going to be his place there. All of these names have come from Star Trek novels, the same way Uhura's name did, and I guess it's about time. Also, we see something about what Pike's style is going to be. I would say that he's kind of a self-effacing type with a sense of humor. I think it's going to be he's going to be a great character. It looks like that the crew, as they've introduced themselves to us, have all something to contribute to stories. Some of the quick scenes that they've shown us are very compelling. So I am very excited of what's going to happen in May when Strange New Worlds starts up. And of course, we'll be reviewing that here. Next time, as we find out more, we will let you know. And of course, the next Picard, which I'm hoping picks up the pace a little bit and lets us know just how they're going to get back home and under what conditions. So until next time, don't go far.